Ethan thought this was just another truck job. Late night, empty road, easy money, nothing weird, nothing scary. But at exactly 2:13 a.m., he saw someone standing in the middle of the road, alone, in the dark, deep inside the forest highway. At first, it looked like a normal person, but then the thing smiled. And nah, humans do not smile like that. That was the exact moment Ethan realized he was not alone out there. The story begins. Rain hit the windshield, hard, like the sky was mad at somebody. Thunder rolled across the night. The road? Empty. Too empty. No cars, no lights, no gas stations, nothing. Just miles of dark forest, and one truck. A giant black truck cutting through the highway. Inside, Ethan yawned, big time. One hand on the wheel, the other holding cold coffee. Man. He looked at the GPS. Who even orders stuff at 2 in the morning? No answer, obviously. Just rain and silence. He turned the radio on. Static. Only static. Wow. He smirked. Great. Haunted forest vibes already. He laughed at his own joke. Then, the GPS glitched. Screen flickered. Once. Twice. Then black. Ethan frowned. Nah, bro. He tapped it. Nothing. Don't do this to me. Not in the middle of nowhere. Thunder boomed. The truck shook slightly. Outside, the forest looked wrong. Too dark. Like the headlights were scared to go inside it. Trees stood still. No wind. No movement. Just darkness. Watching. Waiting. Ethan rubbed his eyes. Okay. Maybe I really need sleep. Then, something moved. Fast. On the side of the road. He froze. Yo. His eyes narrowed. What was that? Nothing there now. Just trees. Rain. Darkness. He laughed nervously. Yeah. Nope. Definitely coffee time. He grabbed the cup, took a sip. Cold. Terrible. Disgusting. Then, boom. Something slammed against the side of the truck. Hard. Ethan jumped. What the? He looked outside. Nothing. His breathing slowed. Tree branch. Had to be. Right? Then, he saw it. Up ahead. Standing in the middle of the road. A person. Tall. Still. Not moving. Rain pouring over them. Head down. Ethan slowed. Whoa. Seriously. He honked. No movement. Again. Honk. Nothing. Hey. He rolled the window slightly. You trying to die or something? Still nothing. The person stood there. Head lowered. Not moving. Ethan swallowed. Something felt off. Very off. No car nearby. No lights. No sound. Who stands in the middle of a forest highway at 2 a.m.? He slowed the truck more. The headlights finally hit the face, and Ethan froze. The person looked wrong. Too tall. Arms too long. Skin pale. Almost gray. And the smile too wide. Way too wide. Like the mouth stretched too far. The thing slowly lifted its head. Eyes. Black. No white. No blinking. Just black. Ethan whispered, Nah. Nope. He slammed the gas. The truck roared forward. The thing moved. Fast. Way too fast. Straight toward him. Ethan yelled, Oh hell, nitrogen monoxide. The creature suddenly disappeared into the dark. Gone. Just gone. Ethan breathed hard. Hands shaking. Nope. I quit. I actually quit. Then, something scratched the truck. Screech. Metal screamed. From the side. Then the roof. Ethan slowly looked up. No. Heavy footsteps. Above him, something was on the truck. Walking. Slow. Deliberate. like it knew he could hear it. Thump, thump, thump. Ethan grabbed the steering wheel tighter. Oh nah, you got the wrong truck, demon. Then, the radio turned on by itself. Static. Loud. Then, a voice. Broken, glitchy, whispering. Don't stop. Ethan froze. What? The voice again. Closer now. Don't stop the truck. Then, silence. The roof footsteps stopped. Ethan looked in the mirror. Nothing. Empty road. Rain. Darkness. Then, he saw movement. Running beside the truck. Same creature. Smiling. Keeping up with the truck. At highway speed. Ethan almost screamed. Yo, what? The thing tilted its head. Still smiling. Then pointed toward the forest. And suddenly took a sharp turn into the trees. Gone. Ethan stared. What? The actual. He laughed nervously. You know what? I don't even need this job. I'll become a farmer. Thunder cracked again. Then, the GPS suddenly turned back on. Screen flickered. A new route appeared. Unknown road. No name. Just one direction. Turn right. Ethan frowned. That road wasn't there before. The GPS voice glitched. Cold. Distorted. Turn right. No. Turn right. Still no. Then, the truck engine sputtered. Once. Twice. Like it might die. Ethan's eyes widened. Okay. That feels like a threat. Slowly, he turned onto the road, and instantly, everything changed. The forest got quieter. Too quiet. No rain sound. No insects. No wind. Nothing. Just silence. Dead silence. The kind that makes your skin crawl. Ethan checked his phone. No signal. Of course. Awesome. Absolutely amazing. Then, he noticed something strange. Cars. On the side of the road. Abandoned. Dozens. Doors open. Headlights still on. Nobody inside. One car had groceries scattered everywhere. Another still had music playing softly. Like people vanished. Mid-drive. Ethan slowed. Nah, this is horror movie stuff. And black people always die first. He paused. Wait. I ain't black. Still leaving though. Then, a child's voice echoed from the forest. Soft. Scared. Help. Ethan froze. Again. Nope. You ain't getting me. Then the voice came again. Closer. Please. Help me. He gripped the wheel tighter. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. Then, the voice changed. Same child. Different tone. Cold. Smiling. We know you're here. Ethan slammed the gas. Nope. 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 The truck sped forward, and suddenly, the trees ended. Ethan hit the brakes. Hard. His mouth slowly opened. In front of him, something massive stood in the darkness. Impossible. Gigantic. Half buried underground. Covered in fog. Blue lights glowing across black metal. A spaceship. Not airplane size. Not military size. City size. Silent. Ancient. Terrifying. And alive. Because slowly, a giant door opened. Metal groaned. Fog poured out. And shapes began moving inside. Tall shapes. Wrong shapes. Not human. Then, one stepped into the light. 8 feet tall. Long limbs. Glowing eyes. And behind it, dozens more. Ethan whispered, "No freaking way." Then his radio turned on. One sentence. Cold. Mechanical. Human detected. And every creature turned toward his truck. At the exact same time, the forest went silent. Dead silent. Not normal silent. Wrong silent. Every creature near the giant ship stopped moving at the same time and turned toward Ethan's truck. their glowing eyes locked on him. Ethan froze. Nay. Nope. Absolutely not. One creature stepped forward, tall, way too tall. Its arms almost touched the ground. Its head tilted slowly, like it was curious, studying him. Then, the radio crackled. Human detected. Ethan blinked. You can talk? The radio answered. Run. His eyes widened. Wait, what? Suddenly, the creature screamed. A horrible sound, like metal breaking underwater, and every alien moved. Fast. Too fast. Straight toward the truck. Ethan slammed the gas. Oh heck. Nitrogen monoxide. The truck roared backward, mud flying everywhere. One alien jumped. Land. Right on top of the truck. Boom. The whole truck shook. Bro, get off my ride. Long claws scratched the roof. Screech. Metal ripped open. Rain started dripping inside. Ethan grabbed a flashlight, looked up. Big mistake. Something looked back. A glowing eye, right above him. Smiling. Nah. He punched the gas harder. The truck bounced through mud. Trees flying past. Behind him, dozens of creatures running through the forest. Some on two legs. Some crawling. Some moving in ways that made no sense. Like broken spiders. Ethan looked in the mirror. Why are y'all so fast? One creature suddenly jumped. Smash. Front windshield cracked. Its face pressed against the glass. Long teeth. Black eyes. Smile too wide. It whispered, Ethan. He froze. The steering wheel almost slipped. How you know my name? The creature smiled wider. Then, bang. Something exploded behind it. The alien flew off the truck. Ethan blinked. What the? Gunfire. Real gunfire. In the trees. Red lasers. Military voices. Someone yelled, "Move the truck." Now. Men in black gear rushed through the forest, weapons glowing blue, shooting at the creatures. One soldier slammed onto Ethan's truck door. Drive. Ethan didn't ask questions. He drove. Fast. Really fast. The soldier climbed inside. Helmet. Mask. Heavy breathing. Ethan looked over. Yeah, you military. No questions. Drive. Sir, I just got chased by nightmare lizards. I got questions. The soldier ignored him, looking behind nervously. Then, boom. Something huge landed behind the truck. The whole road shook. Ethan checked the mirror and almost crashed. No way. Something bigger stepped out of the dark. Much bigger. At least 10 feet tall. Black armor-looking skin. Blue glowing eyes. Different. Smarter. Scarier. The soldier cursed quietly. Commander Kluss. Ethan blinked. Commander what? The thing lifted one hand, and every smaller alien stopped chasing, like soldiers obeying orders. Then, it looked straight at Ethan, even from far away. Too far away. Still felt like it could see inside his head. Then it spoke. Not loud, but Ethan heard it anyway, inside his mind. Interesting. Ethan almost swerved. Why are you in my head? The soldier slowly looked at him. What did it say? You heard that too? No. What did it say? Ethan swallowed. It called me. Interesting. The soldier went quiet. Too quiet. That made Ethan nervous. Why are you acting weird? The soldier didn't answer. Just grabbed a radio. Static. Then, Team Delta is gone. Another voice screamed. They're copying voices. Don't trust. Static. Silence. Then screaming. Then nothing. Ethan looked at him. Bro, what kind of Jurassic Park nonsense is this? The soldier finally sighed. You shouldn't have seen the ship. Excuse me. Anyone who sees it. He stopped talking. Ethan frowned. Anyone who sees it what? No answer. Just silence. Then, the truck engine suddenly died. Everything shut off. Lights, dashboard, radio, dead. The truck rolled to a stop. Forest, darkness, rain, silence. Ethan slowly turned. Tell me that's normal. The soldier quietly loaded his weapon. No. Then, knock, knock, knock. On Ethan's window, both froze. Slowly, Ethan looked and almost screamed. A little girl stood outside, maybe 8 years old, wet hair, barefoot, crying. Please, help me. Ethan frowned. A kid? The soldier instantly grabbed Ethan's arm. Hard. Don't open that door. What? Bro, she's a child. No, that's not a child. Outside, the girl slowly lifted her head and smiled. Way too wide. Then, she spoke in the soldier's exact voice. Don't open that door. Ethan froze. The soldier whispered, Ron. Then, the forest around them started moving. Dozens, no, hundreds of glowing eyes, watching, from the dark, and somewhere in the trees, that giant commander creature smiled. Rain hit the truck again, hard, but nobody moved. Not Ethan, not the soldier. Outside, the little girl thing still stood there, smiling, too wide, too wrong. Her black eyes locked on Ethan, like she already knew him, like she was waiting, patient. Then, more shadows moved in the trees. Tall ones, crawling ones, fast ones, glowing eyes everywhere. Ethan swallowed hard. Okay, not gonna lie. I officially hate this forest. The soldier checked his weapon, hands shaking a little. That scared Ethan. Because military guys, they don't shake. Listen to me, the soldier whispered. Whatever happens, do not leave the truck. Ethan blinked. Bro, they literally surrounded the truck. What truck? The soldier pointed outside. Ethan looked and froze. No way. The truck was gone. Completely gone. No dashboard. No steering wheel. Nothing. They were standing outside, in the middle of the forest. Ethan blinked again. Nah, nope, I'm losing my mind. He looked around fast. How are we outside? The soldier looked terrified. They're doing it again. What? The illusions. Ethan frowned. The what now? Then, the little girl stopped smiling. Her neck slowly twisted. Too far. Bones cracking. She pointed deeper into the forest and whispered, He wants to meet you. Suddenly, everything went dark, pitch black. Even the rain stopped. No sound, nothing. Then, a voice, deep, cold, inside Ethan's head. Ethan. He turned fast. Bro, can everybody stop saying my name? No answer, just whispers, everywhere. Behind him, above him, inside the trees. Ethan, Ethan, Ethan. The soldier grabbed Ethan. Move. They ran, branches snapping, mud everywhere. Something chased them, fast, too fast. Heavy footsteps, not human. Ethan looked back once. Big mistake. The commander creature, right behind them, 10 feet tall. Walking slowly, not even running, still somehow catching up. Blue eyes glowing in the dark. Smile impossible, like it already knew they couldn't escape. Ethan panted. Why is the boss monster walking like a movie villain? The soldier almost yelled, Shut up and run. Then, lights. Ahead, cars, military trucks, people, a checkpoint. Soldiers everywhere. Ethan almost cried. Oh, thank God. The soldier waved his arms. Open the gate. The soldiers aimed guns instantly. One officer stepped forward. What happened to Team Delta? The soldiers stayed quiet. Too quiet. Ethan pointed behind them. Bro, forget team whatever. There's a whole alien army back there. Nobody moved. The officer looked confused. Alien army? Ethan stared. You serious? You got glowing-eyed nightmare creatures in your forest, and you acting confused. The officer turned to the soldier. What happened? The soldier slowly removed his helmet. Ethan finally saw his face. Tired, pale, scared. Then the soldier said quietly, "They woke up." Silence. Everybody froze. Even the officer. No. The soldier nodded. Yes. Then, the forest behind them went silent. Completely silent. Too silent. No creatures. No sounds. Nothing. Gone. Like nothing was ever there. Ethan blinked. Did the horror movie end? Nobody laughed. The officer looked worried now. Bring them inside. Fast. Very fast. They entered a hidden military base. Underground. Cold. Metal walls. Monitors everywhere. Maps. Satellite images. Armed guards. Ethan looked around. Yo, what in Area 51 is this? Nobody answered. A woman entered the room. Military uniform. Sharp eyes. Serious face. She looked at Ethan. Then the soldier. You saw the ship. Ethan blinked. So you people knew. She ignored him. How much did he see? The soldier hesitated. Everything. Her face changed. Not fear. Worse. Concern. That scared Ethan. Okay. Can somebody explain before I start crying? Nobody laughed. Again. The woman placed a photo on the table. Ethan looked and froze. It was the exact ship, but older, different angle. Black and white image. Date stamped. 1987. Ethan frowned. Nah, no way. She nodded slowly. We found it 39 years ago. Ethan stared. You mean to tell me you've had aliens in the woods for almost 40 years? She sighed. They were asleep. Until tonight. Then, one soldier ran inside. Panic on his face. Ma'am, you need to see this. Everyone turned. The monitor turned on. Camera footage. Forest view. Night vision. Empty road. Then, something moved. Ethan froze. Because standing on the screen was him. Same jacket. Same face. Same truck hat. Smiling. Wide. Too wide. The fake Ethan looked straight into the camera and said, "You should not have taken the real one." Then the screen went black. Silence. Everybody slowly turned toward Ethan. The room went dead silent. Nobody moved. Nobody blinked. Every soldier slowly looked at Ethan. Weapons raised. Click. 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 Safety locks off. Ethan looked around. Nay, why y'all looking at me like I stole something? The woman officer stepped closer. Cold expression. Who are you? Ethan blinked. Bro, I'm Ethan, the traumatized truck driver. Remember me? Nobody laughed. Again. One soldier whispered, "What if it copied him?" Ethan frowned. Copied Babho. The officer pointed at the screen. That thing looked exactly like you. Ethan threw his hands up. Yeah, and that thing got ugly smile DLC. That wasn't me. Still, nobody lowered their guns. The woman looked serious. Test him. Two soldiers stepped forward. Ethan backed up. Test me how? No answer. Bad sign. Very bad sign. 5 minutes later, Ethan sat inside a cold room. Metal chair. Bright light. Like some FBI movie. A guy in glasses sat across from him. No smile. No emotion. Name. Ethan. Age. 30. Occupation, professional victim apparently. No reaction. The guy kept writing. Tell me exactly what happened tonight. Ethan sighed. You got snacks? No. Then this interrogation illegal. Still no reaction. Tough crowd. Ethan explained everything. The road, the smiling creature, the giant ship, the monster on the truck, the little girl thing, the commander alien, everything. The man listened carefully, then asked, "What did the commander say to you?" Ethan paused. Interesting. The man stopped writing, slowly looked up. That got his attention. You're sure? Yeah. Why? The guy stood up, suddenly nervous. That's bad. Ethan frowned. Bro, what does that mean? No answer. The man left. Locked the door. Ethan sat alone. Cool. Love being abandoned. Then the lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then darkness. Ethan froze. Nah. No. No blackout horror movie nonsense. A voice whispered in the dark. Soft. Familiar. Ethan. He swallowed. Who's there? No answer. Then a shape stood in the corner. Tall. Still. Smiling. Too dark to see properly. But Ethan knew. That smile. Commander. Ethan stood fast. Oh heck no. You ain't real. The creature tilted its head. Blue eyes glowing softly now. You are important. Ethan backed up. How you inside the building? The commander smiled. You opened the door. What door? No answer. Only silence. Then the creature stepped closer and whispered, They are lying to you. Boom. Lights turned back on. The room empty. Nothing there. No commander. No glowing eyes. Nothing. Ethan breathed hard. Nah, I need therapy. The door opened. The woman officer rushed in. We have a problem. Ethan laughed nervously. Oh wow. Bigger than alien demons. Yes. That answer scared him. Fast. She took him to the control room. People shouting. Screens flashing red. Panic everywhere. One soldier yelled, Sector 4 is down. Another shouted, No visual contact. Then Ethan saw it. Security footage. Hallway camera. A soldier walking alone. Everything normal. Then the soldier stopped, turned slowly, and smiled. Too wide. Black eyes. Exactly like the fake Ethan. Then the soldier attacked the camera. Screen dead. Ethan blinked. Nah, you got shapeshifter aliens in here too. The officer nodded. Quietly, they got inside. Before Ethan could answer. Alarm. Loud. Red lights. A voice echoed through the base. Security breach. Security breach. Level 3 contamination. Then, screaming. Far away. Gunshots. Lots of gunshots. Ethan turned. Tell me somebody got a plan. The officer loaded a rifle. Yes. Run. Then, boom. Something smashed through the control room glass. Everyone screamed. A soldier flew across the room. Dead. And standing in the smoke. The fake Ethan. Same face. Same clothes. Same smile. It slowly looked at real Ethan. And whispered, There you are. The room exploded into chaos. Soldiers yelling. Gunfire everywhere. Glass shattered. Alarms screaming. And standing in the middle of all that madness, fake Ethan smiled. Same face. Same clothes. But wrong. Everything about him felt wrong. His smile too wide. Eyes too dark. Like something wearing Ethan's skin. Real Ethan blinked. Nah, I already got enough problems. I do not need evil twin drama. Nobody laughed. Because fake Ethan suddenly moved. Fast. Too fast. 1 second standing. Next second, boom. A soldier slammed into the wall. Dead. Another fired. Bullets hit. Nothing happened. Fake Ethan slowly turned, smiling, then snapped the rifle in half, like a toy. Ethan stared. Okay, respectfully. That is terrifying. The woman officer grabbed Ethan. Move. They ran. Hallways. Red lights flashing. Gunshots behind them. Screams. Metal doors slamming shut. Ethan breathing hard. So, what exactly is evil me? The officer kept moving. Not a copy. What? It's worse. That answer felt illegal. How can it be worse? She looked serious. The creatures don't replace humans. They study them, learn them, become better versions. Ethan frowned. Excuse me? So evil me got upgrades. Nobody answered. Bad sign. Very bad sign. Behind them, footsteps. Slow. Calm. Not chasing. Walking. Like it already knew where they were. Fake Ethan's voice echoed through the hallway. You can't hide forever. Real Ethan shivered. Bro, that voice ugly. Then, the lights shut off. Darkness. Complete darkness. Everybody stopped. The officer whispered, Don't move. What? Don't move. Then, footsteps. Close. Really close. Someone breathing. Standing nearby. Ethan whispered, You got night vision? No. Oh wow. We dying then? Suddenly, a voice behind Ethan. Soft. Friendly. Exactly like his mom. Ethan. He froze. Mom? The officer grabbed him instantly. No. Too late. Ethan turned, and something smiled in the dark. Black eyes. Long arms. Too tall. Not human. It whispered. Got you. Boom. Gunfire exploded. The creature screamed. Blue blood everywhere. The lights flickered back on. Gone. Nothing there. Ethan looked shaken. Nah. That thing used my mom's voice. The officer nodded. They copy memories. That hit hard. Real hard. Before Ethan could think, a scientist ran toward them. Panicked. Commander Hayes. The officer turned. What happened? The scientist looked terrified. They opened the lower chamber. Silence. Her face changed instantly. No. Ethan frowned. Why everybody keeps saying no, like we in a horror movie? The scientist swallowed hard. The ship. It wasn't sleeping. Ethan froze. What? It was growing. Nobody spoke. Even the soldiers looked scared now. The scientist opened a tablet. Satellite images. Thermal scans. Underground tunnels. Huge ones. Miles long. All connected. Under cities. Under roads. Under towns. Ethan stared. Bro, you telling me alien subway tunnels under people's houses? The scientist nodded slowly. They've been here for decades. Watching. Learning. Preparing. Ethan's stomach dropped. For what? Nobody answered. Then, the whole base shook. Hard. Boom. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lights flickered. Another explosion. Far below. A soldier screamed through radio. Something massive just woke up. Then static. Then screaming. Then silence. Ethan looked nervous now. What woke up? Nobody answered. Bad sign. Again. Then, the building trembled. Heavy footsteps. Slow. Massive. Something huge moving underground. Something very huge. The officer whispered, Impossible. Ethan looked at her. What? Her face pale now. The commander. He wasn't leading them. He was guarding something. Before Ethan could answer, Emergency screen activated. Camera footage. Underground chamber. Dark. Smoke. Broken walls. Then something moved. A gigantic eye opened. Blue. Glowing. Bigger than a truck. Everyone froze. Then the eye blinked and looked directly at the camera. A deep voice echoed through every speaker. Cold. Ancient. Hungry. Finally, the screen died. Silence. Then, fake Ethan's voice echoed somewhere behind them, laughing softly. Now you're all dead. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. The whole room froze. That voice didn't sound normal. Didn't sound alive. It sounded old, like something that had been sleeping for a very, very long time. Ethan slowly looked around. Oh, okay. So, anybody else wanna cry? Still no laughs. Tough crowd. Again. Boom. The whole base shook. Harder this time. Lights burst. Sparks everywhere. A soldier screamed into radio. Level 4 breach. It's moving. Then static. Then screaming. Then silence. Ethan pointed nervously. Bro, what exactly woke up? Commander Hayes looked pale, really pale, like she already knew the answer and hated it. Slowly, she whispered, "The king." Silence. Ethan blinked. The what now? No answer, just fear. That scared Ethan more than the aliens, because military people, they don't scare easy. Another boom. Closer now. Metal bent somewhere below, like something huge was pushing upward. Then, the alarms changed. New warning. Louder. Scarier. Base evacuation. Base evacuation. Entity has awakened. Ethan looked around. Wah, that sounds bad. Hayes grabbed him. We need to move. Where? To the surface. And then, no answer. Bad sign. Very bad sign. They ran. Hallways full of panic. Soldiers rushing. Scientists crying. People yelling. Someone pushed past Ethan. Another screamed, "Leave the lower levels." Then, boom. The hallway behind them collapsed. Dust everywhere. Darkness. And for 1 second, Ethan saw glowing blue eyes, watching from the rubble. Too many eyes, then gone. He swallowed hard. Nope. Hate that. They reached the garage level. Massive military vehicles. Helicopters. Armored trucks. Chaos. People loading weapons. A soldier yelled, "We're leaving now." Then, a familiar voice echoed, calm, mocking. Leaving already? Everybody froze. Standing on top of an armored truck. Fake Ethan. Smiling. Hands behind his back. Like he owned the place. Real Ethan sighed. "Bro, you really obsessed with me." Fake Ethan tilted his head. "You matter." "Why?" The smile grew wider. "Because the king wants you alive." Silence. Ethan blinked. "Respectfully?" That sounds terrifying. Then, fake Ethan moved. Fast. Way too fast. He slammed into soldiers. Bones snapped. Weapons flew. People screaming. One soldier fired a rocket. Boom. Explosion. Smoke everywhere. When it cleared, fake Ethan still stood there, not even hurt, smiling. "Oh nah." Ethan slowly backed away. "You built different." Hayes shouted, "Get in the truck." Ethan didn't argue. First smart decision tonight. They jumped into a heavy military truck. Engine roared alive. Soldiers piled in. Weapons ready. Then, the ground cracked. Everybody froze. A deep sound echoed underground, like a giant breathing. Slow, heavy, ancient. Then, boom! The forest exploded. Trees flew into the sky. Earth split open, and something started rising. Big. Way too big. At first, Ethan thought it was a mountain. Then it moved. Blue glowing cracks across black skin. Massive claws. Eyes like giant moons. And teeth. Rows and rows of impossible teeth. The king. Half alien. Half nightmare. Bigger than buildings. Ethan whispered, "Nah, that ain't fair." The thing looked toward the base. Then toward Ethan. Directly. Like it already knew him. Hayes looked terrified. "No way." Ethan frowned. "What?" Her voice shook. "It recognizes you." "Why?" No answer. The king suddenly roared. Windows shattered instantly. Trees bent. People screamed. Then every smaller alien in the forest stopped, turned, and bowed, like soldiers greeting their god. Ethan swallowed. Oh wow, that's super bad. Then, inside Ethan's head, a voice. Deep, cold, ancient. "Bring him to me." The king never moved its mouth. Still, Ethan heard it perfectly. And suddenly, every alien in the forest turned toward the truck. At once. Hundreds of glowing eyes, watching, waiting. Then, they charged. Fast. Really fast. Hayes yelled, "Drive!" The military truck exploded forward. Mud flying. Aliens chasing. Jumping through trees. Screaming. One landed on the roof. Another smashed the side window. A soldier fired non-stop. Blue blood everywhere. Ethan grabbed the wheel. "Move over." Hayes blinked. "What?" "Lady, I drive trucks for a living. Trust me." She moved. Big mistake for the aliens. Ethan grinned nervously. Y'all picked the wrong truck driver." He slammed the gas. Full speed. Straight into the dark forest. While behind them, the king slowly smiled and whispered into Ethan's mind, "You cannot escape me." The truck flew through the forest. Mud everywhere. Branches smashing the windshield. Rain hitting hard. Behind them, chaos. Pure chaos. Aliens chasing from every direction. Some running on trees. Some crawling upside down. Some moving way too fast. Ethan gripped the wheel, eyes wide. "Nah, this officially the worst night of my life." An alien jumped. Boom. Right onto the truck roof. Metal bent instantly. A soldier yelled, "Above US." Ethan smirked nervously. "I bet." He suddenly turned the wheel hard. The truck slammed sideways through thick trees. Crash. Boom. The alien flew off. Gone. Ethan grinned. "Truck driver, baby." Nobody laughed. Again. Tough crowd. Hayes loaded her rifle. "We need distance." Ethan pointed behind. "Lady, they kinda fast." No joke. The aliens were catching up. Fast. Too fast. One jumped onto the back. Then another. Then 5 more. Claws ripping metal. Soldiers firing non-stop. Blue blood splashing everywhere. One soldier screamed, "We're losing them." Then, crash. Something massive landed behind the truck. The whole road shook. Everybody looked back and froze. Commander Creature, the giant one, walking through trees like they were nothing. Blue eyes glowing. Smile still there. Calm. Not rushing. Like it already knew the ending. Ethan blinked. "Bro, why the boss fight still following us?" Hayes looked serious. "It's not hunting us." "What?" "It's hunting you." Ethan paused. Respectfully. "That sounds personal." Then, the voice returned inside his head. Cold. Ancient. Wrong. "Ethan." He flinched. "Oh nah. Not again. You belong to us." "No, I don't." Everyone looked at him. Hayes frowned. "You hearing voices?" "Yeah, and honestly, I'm not loving it." Then, something weird happened. The truck lights flickered. Radio turned on by itself. Static. Then, a voice. Familiar. Too familiar. His dad. Dead for years. Ethan. He froze. Dad? Hayes immediately grabbed his arm. Don't listen. But the voice continued. Soft. Comforting. Son. Stop the truck. We just want to talk. Ethan's breathing slowed. For 1 second, he almost believed it. Then, he remembered. His dad never called him son. Always kid. His face changed. Nah, you ugly aliens really tried it. He slammed the radio off. Nice try. Outside, the commander creature stopped smiling. For the first time, almost annoyed. That scared Ethan more. Then, the ground ahead ended. Cliff. Huge one. Everybody yelled. Stop! Ethan's eyes widened. Oh, come on. Too late. No brakes. Mud too slippery. Truck sliding fast. 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 Hayes shouted. Turn left. No room. Do something. Ethan looked around quickly, brain moving fast. Then he saw it. Old logging ramp. Broken. Dangerous. Insane idea. Perfect. He grinned nervously. Y'all trust me? Everyone screamed. No. Cool. Hold tight. He turned hard. Truck launched toward the ramp. Aliens still chasing. Commander creature close now. Really close. Then, boom. The truck flew. Actually flew. Everyone screaming. Everything slow motion. Forest below. Darkness everywhere. Truck spinning slightly. Then, crash. Hard landing. Metal screaming. Glass breaking. But somehow, alive. Ethan groaned. Still alive. Hate that. Behind them, the bridge collapsed. Huge explosion. Rocks crashing down. And the commander creature, gone. Buried. For now, everyone breathed. Relief. Finally. Then, military helicopters appeared overhead. Spotlights everywhere. A radio voice shouted, "This is Falcon Team. We found you." Ethan leaned back. Oh, thank God. Finally. Normal humans. Then, the pilot's voice changed. Glitched. Wrong. Called. Correction. We found Ethan. Everybody froze. Slowly, the helicopter lights turned blue. Every helicopter. At once. And soldiers inside stopped moving. Then smiled. Too wide. Too wrong. Ethan whispered, "Nah, we are so cooked." Then, far away in the forest, something moved. Massive. The king. Still alive. Still watching. And slowly, it began walking toward them. Nobody spoke. Nobody breathed. The helicopters hovered above them. Silent. Wrong. Blue lights glowing underneath. And inside, the soldiers smiled. Too wide. Too still. Ethan slowly pointed upward. Yeah, I miss normal problems. Like taxes. Nobody laughed. Again, tough crowd. Commander Hayes slowly raised her rifle. Eyes locked on the helicopters. That's not our team. Ethan blinked. No kidding. One helicopter speaker crackled. Static. Then, a familiar voice. Fake Ethan. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Real Ethan sighed. Bro, you seriously obsessed with me? Static laughter. Cold. Unnatural. The king wants to meet you. No thanks. I'm booked. Behind them, the forest shook. Boom. Trees snapped. Ground cracked. And then, the king stepped into view. Massive. Impossible. Its glowing blue eyes locked on Ethan. Everything else stopped moving. Even the aliens. Like soldiers waiting for orders. Inside Ethan's head, That deep voice returned. Ancient. Hungry. Come to me. His vision blurred. Everything suddenly felt heavy, like something pulling him, calling him. Ethan almost took a step, then another. Hayes grabbed him instantly. Fight it. He snapped out of it. Nah, that thing got mind control DLC. Then, the helicopters opened fire. Boom, boom, boom. Missiles everywhere. Explosions shook the cliffside. Aliens rushed from the trees. Soldiers jumped out of helicopters, except they weren't soldiers anymore. Black eyes, wrong smiles, fast movements, copied humans. The fight started instantly. Pure chaos. Gunfire, screaming, explosions, aliens everywhere. Hayes yelled, "We need to kill the king." Ethan blinked. You got a plan? No. Oh wow. Love that. Then, Ethan looked down. Fuel truck. Damaged. Leaking gas. His eyes widened. Wait. He looked at Hayes. You trust me? She frowned. No. Fair, but trust me anyway. Before anyone could stop him, Ethan jumped into the damaged military truck, started the engine, barely alive. The king noticed immediately. Its giant head turned slowly, watching him, smiling. That creepy, impossible smile. Inside Ethan's head. Good. Come closer. Ethan gripped the wheel. Heart racing. Ed monster. Let's see who crazy. He slammed the gas. Truck roared forward, straight toward the king. Everyone screaming behind him. Hayes yelling. Ethan. Too late. Aliens jumped onto the truck. One smashed through the side window. Ethan punched it. Hard. Not today. Another climbed up. He swerved. Alien gone. Truck speeding faster. 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 The king lowered its massive head, waiting, like it wanted this. Then, fake Ethan suddenly appeared on the road, smiling. You don't understand. The king chose you. Ethan smirked nervously. Cool. I still quit. He slammed the truck harder, straight through fake Ethan. Boom. Blue blood exploded everywhere. Fake Ethan screamed. Gone. Then, the king stood directly ahead. Massive. Terrifying. Impossible. No turning back. Ethan whispered, well, this either really smart or really stupid. He grabbed a flare, lit it, threw it into leaking fuel, then jumped. Boom on the fuel. The whole forest exploded. Fire everywhere. Shockwave, massive. Trees falling. Aliens screaming. The king roared. A sound so loud, the sky itself felt broken. Blue light exploded from inside its body. Cracks everywhere. Then, silence. Everything stopped. Fire burning softly. No movement. No aliens. Nothing. Morning came slowly. Smoke everywhere. Rescue teams arrived. Military helicopters. Real ones. This time, doctors. Soldiers. Questions. Too many questions, but no answers. Because the forest, empty. No ship. No bodies. Nothing. Like it never happened. Government blamed it on illegal weapons testing accident. Classic. 3 days later, Ethan sat at home, alive, coffee in hand, TV playing quietly. Man, I need a new job. He laughed, nervously. Then, knock, knock, knock. He frowned, opened the door. Nobody there, just a small metal box, black, strange symbols glowing blue. Slowly, the box turned on by itself. A familiar voice echoed softly, cold, mechanical. Phase 2 has begun. Then, inside the dark house behind Ethan, something smiled, too wide.